Okay, so for this video I'm going to do a review of Ash's recent game on OGS. I'm going to title this video How to Lose a One Game, and that's not because I'm having a go at you, Ash. It's because it actually is a very important title. It's something that we've all done at some point. I've certainly done dozens and dozens of these where we've been ahead on the board and then made some kind of fatal mistakes that mean that we lose the game. In this case, I mean, looking back at the game record, I've been through it once. It was White's invasion on the left side that cost you the game in this. And so there's a couple of themes. One is to actually look at how do we deal with invasions. I think it's quite an important one. And the second one is actually the urgency of moves. Often in Go we would like to play two moves, one after the other. And we know that if we could do that, we could actually get an advantage locally. When you make a move that your opponent doesn't have to answer, so it's not Sente, and I've talked to some of you about this idea of Sente and Gote. Sente's initiative, so it's pushing forward, it's forcing your opponent to respond. Gote is the opposite. It's defensive, it's reactive, it's responsive. And so when we play moves that don't have that our opponent doesn't have to answer, then effectively we're giving them two moves in a go, and that's a huge opportunity for our opponent, and we'll get to that when we see it. So let's look at the game, because it started out quite positively. So here are the moves. So Ash was black, Skywalker 7, and his opponent was white. Standard move, absolutely expected. Great, Ash. The move by your opponent, white, here is a bit too far out of the corner. I don't like it very much. It's way out. It's offering up this move here, this position, as a response. But I think Ash quite rightly takes another corner on the 4-4. Again, this is cheeky stuff by what's his name, Eternorta. He's way out far from the corner, and it's kind of provoking or inviting something like this. Third move, you take the corner. What you did here wasn't wrong, Ash, but the 3-3 says I want the corner. It's really solid. It's actually saying all I want is this area of the board here, because it's so low. It doesn't have any room to develop either in this direction or in this direction, like that or like that. If we want the corner in that sense, then the kinds of moves we should be playing is out here, because then we're forcing our opponent. If white says, well, I want the corner, you Hane, white draws back, you make shape, white defends his cutting point, and then you get shape. This is Joseki. This is a corner exchange, but actually it starts, as you'll notice, with the 1. It starts with this on the 4-4, because the 4-4 has room to develop in both sides. So if we go back on that. So when you came in here, you said, I really want that corner. And white said, well, you can have the corner, but I'm going to have the outside. And then you played this move. You said, well, actually, I don't just want the corner, I want to come outside. And so what was happening here is you were changing your mind very rapidly between the first move here that said, I want the corner, and then this move that said, actually, I don't want to get shut in. And it's not that that's an impossible place. In fact, this corner you came out, but it's something we call maintenance of aim. When you have an objective and you keep pushing towards that objective. White then blocked you. You made this connection, which is okay. It means that these 3 stones are connected, but white has got all of the outside at the moment. White played here, and then I would have expected you to push out, which you did. And that was great. And then white played a slightly nonsensical move by jumping this far out. And again, I would have expected black just to wedge out like this, keeping his stones connected, and then saying to white, which side do you like? Do you like this side? Or do you like this side? Because I'm going to turn one side or the other. If white defends that side, then black turns out. If white plays the other side, sorry, after this one, which was the one in the game, if white takes the outside, then you turn. Effectively, these 2 stones are going to die. and you get a big corner. Okay, it's back to the game. Not too many variations. So you jumped, so white wedged. So you Atari'd outside. So you're making a really clear statement here that you want the outside, not the inside. The other alternative would have been obviously to Atari in this side. If white descended here, then you Atari here. White, black, white, kill. That sequence, and you get all of the corner. That was the alternative move that you had. Often when we're beginning the game of Go, we don't see things as alternatives. We don't consider those alternatives. We go, oh, I must play there to Atari. But there were two choices for black here. And those two choices emerged as soon as you made that jump, because white's wedge was almost inevitable. And then you choose outside or inside. So here you went outside, white connected, and then black pushed inside. So here again we can see the same principles of maintenance of aim and direction of play. With this Atari here, you said you like the outside, and so white connected. And then with this move you say, well, actually I want the inside instead. By inside I mean inside the black group of stones, and by outside I mean outside the black group of stones here. So this is the outside, this is the inside. So what I see happening in your thinking here is lots of switches of direction, lots of changes of direction from one direction to the other. This direction says I want the outside, that you're interested in here and attacking these stones. This move says you want this side. So white cuts, and Atari's your stone, and you come out. So this is now fine again. You're actually again back on this principle, saying, well, I'm going to attack these stones here, these two white stones here, and I'm prepared to give these two up. So white says, well, that's fine, I'm happy with that exchange. I'm going to take these two stones, and I would have expected black at this point to play something like this to catch these stones. The outcome was this, white gets this, black does something like this. So black's got the outs this side, this group, white gets this area. And we can see how that's divided between the two players, and so both players should be content or relatively happy. What happened in the game? Black came here, back to the game, white went here, and you decided that you wanted those as well. We call these kind of players, they're not impossible, but they're a little bit greedy. You're kind of saying to your opponent you want everything, and one of the key ideas in Go is that we've got to exchange. We've got to make exchanges with our opponent. White can have some, we get some. As long as we get more some than our opponent, then we're happy. So black turns, and then white sets you up in a ladder. So this is a ladder attack, and if we can recognize that if black just tries to follow the ladder proceeds like this, and white will kill. So those black stones are now caught in a ladder. We don't expect them to survive. But black's compensation for that is that black catches these stones. Something like this. If white tries to play here, then black will play something like these. And white doesn't have any. What does white do? There's a double Atari. You know, these white stones are now dying. It doesn't work. Okay, so this was the move. White played here. Black pushed out. Again, this is a challenge for you, Ash, in terms of direction of play. If you Atari, you've got two choices here. One is to Atari in this direction from here, and the other one is this one, the one that you played in the game. The one that you played in the game is actually pushing white out and weakening these stones. They're now weaker. They've only got two liberties. They're soon going to have to run. And then you come here, which actually does not set up a ladder because this stone acts as a ladder breaker. Black pushes out, you Atari. White comes down, and there's the ladder breaker kicked in. You've now got an Atari that you've got to deal with. So you come down, and then white cuts through with a double Atari. Which stones do you save? You push once in this direction, and white connects, and then Atari this way. It still doesn't work because white takes. You Atari on the outside, and now white makes a mistake. This is clear mistake for white because you take. What should white have done here? Well, clearly white connects and comes out this way. These black stones, because these black stones here are already dead, they're caught in a ladder, these ones are going to really struggle to get out. Anyway, back to the game. You played there, white made a mistake, you took. Great result for black, fantastic. White makes a mistake. White's kind of probably annoyed with what's going on here, didn't need to do that. Takes these stones here. And you extend, great move, really fantastic. It's thinking about territory and space rather than the local fight. This local fight is now almost over, it's done with, and actually we can see that it's pretty even. White would like to get an extension out into somewhere like this area to develop this, and you've already got your extension out into that area. So what happens? White makes a final cut to reduce this. It's a double Atari. Could you have spotted that? Yes. You connect on the right side, white takes the stone, you connect, white connects. It's over again. It hasn't changed it. The black group is still alive, and actually this white group here is now what we call a dumpling. It's a clump of stones that don't have any shape, don't have any eye space, and dumplings are tasty because they get eaten up. So black, lovely move Ash, really great, fantastic extension. It's working beautifully with this stone here and your wall here, and it's actually saying I really like these points here. In fact, you've got also got these points. It's a huge move in the game. White tries to reduce, you block. White's overplay, quite rightly you come on top. The other alternative is for black is to come underneath like this, but I think you were quite right in coming out on top because you want to keep these stones weak, because they are weak at the moment. This is the dumpling, so I think your move was correct. White comes out, you come out. Alright, this is an interesting sequence for me to watch. So what happens here is you Atari, in fact you double Atari, and white Ataris your stone. And so you take the stone, and then white comes this way, and then you block that way, and white makes this move. You connect, white cuts, you connect, white makes this Atari, and you connect on the outside, Atarying here. I think a better move here is simply this block, because now notice that in this area here white's only got space for one eye, and so you've got these white stones are going to die. Go back to the game. You connect. I believe you connected here. White wedged. Did white wedge out after that one? Yeah, white wedged out. You connected. White there. Then you pushed out. Not wrong. You're going to force white out. White goes out. This was on the Atarying on the inside. Notice that this group's not in any danger. It's unconditionally alive. The group that's a little bit short of liberties at the moment is this one. So actually, rather than playing the move you did, it would be much better to play here, because this strengthens up this group. Or indeed push out one more time here. White will come out and then strengthen your group, so you've got more liberties to fight with. I hope that makes sense. So you're tired inside, and now we're getting a repeat pattern, so white jumps out again. You block, white wedges, you Atari, double Atari, white pushes in. Now to me this is a nonsensical move, and you quite rightly ignore it and take it and take his stones. Then he plays again. Again, this is a nonsensical move. There's no cut. You don't need to answer here. Just work it out. What can white do if you carried on with your move here? Say you took here and white did this. You connect here. White comes down. Atari, run. Atari, run. Kill. There's nothing to happen. There's nothing bad's going to happen here. Just trying to get into that habit of reading. So when white does this move, sorry, let's go back to here. Let's go back to the game. White does this move, you don't have to answer. There's nothing to answer. But you did answer. Okay. And then white comes here. And then you push out. I like the push out because it's actually putting a lot of pressure on here, on this group here. They've now only got 2 liberties and are in risk of dying. So white runs out, and you turn. They've still only got 1 liberties. This group is in real danger. This one here, it's in real danger here. White comes out. I would have pushed from the other side, because then that starts to build pressure as well on these stones, all of which are vulnerable. And white will have to come out again. After black, white will have to come out again, because if white doesn't, oops, let's just go back to where we were in the game. Sorry about that, folks. White comes out, you come from that side, and so then white gets to turn and connect. That's the difference here. And when you push, white makes that shape, you take, white blocks. Again, is this stone doing any work? It possibly is. I'm not going to criticise that move. White connects that side, and now really black's move. This black group is completely safe. It's connected all the way through to here. Look at it. Look at the connection, and look at the eyes. The vital move for black at this point is that double Atari. What happens in the game? White plays there, and black jumps out. I can't criticise it because actually it built you a big area of territory. If you want to build territory, I prefer this one, low down. It stops, white invading, and you've got a big area. And actually, then we have these 3 all working together. And white's just got this shattered wall. White's got a dying group here, down to 3 liberties. That's a dead stone. And so white's got this little group here, and that one there, and another very fragile group here. Black's way ahead in the game. Anyway, black plays here, white plays here, then you play there. I think you should play there first of all. Maybe play this one before that one if you really want the jump. White gets an Atari, you connect, white jumps out. Okay, where's black's next play? can't criticise that. It secures the corner, it's more points in the bank. White plays that, and then you play here. I don't like this stone. I think we've talked before about I think this is much more powerful, because this, look at the size of this potential territory here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 80 points of territory. Huge. Absolutely huge. What you're focused on here is actually making a connection between these stones and these stones. But remember, these are already alive. They don't need a connection. They're good already. So white comes out that direction, and you push in again. Where's the big move? Big move is something like this, or maybe this. Right now, this is too small. White defends, again too small, and again the big move for black would be somewhere like here. This is way too small, and it's just not good shape. Remember that empty triangle? There it is. Okay. If you want to play in that area, and there is no need to play in that area, make a nice shape move like this. Lots of open shape. What can white do? Can white play here? No, because play there. If white plays here, you would just kill him here. Doesn't work. So this was an example of creating bad shape, empty triangle, and giving white 2 goes in a move. And what does white do? White makes terrible shape as well. Another empty triangle. You kind of compound the error because there is no bad thing here. You played this stone and then white connects. White doesn't need to connect. This is called bamboo joint. White can't break through. Black can't break through there. Cannot. Again, the big move, waiting for you, Ash, after this one. White does that, is this one. Or this one. Huge. Okay. You play this one. Very centre focused here. You're playing too many stones in a small area, and then white starts to make this territory. Here, here. Don't like this move either. This one should be somewhere like here, protecting the big area. Anyway, let's keep going. There, white turns, you jump in, white pushes out, you block. This move, I think we see what happens here where you get into trouble. So white plays this way, you play this way, and then white plays this way. So all of these moves on this side, when you're playing on here, it's strengthening here, but it's really weakening these stones here as white drives this wedge between these stones and these stones. So you hane, white cuts inside, you try and make shape, and white completes the trap. So these, they're dead. They're not going to get out there. They can't make 2 eyes in there. There's not much space to live. And you kind of, at this point, you have to write them off and probably play something like this to make sure that you're all connected here. So your move was good. Your move was good in that. Right? This move was in the exactly right direction of play. You spotted what was going on. White plays there. You play there. Again, I prefer this kind of move. It doesn't allow white to have cutting points. There's no cutting point between these 2 stones because they're connected by a kosumi. When you play these kind of moves, it leaves that as a cutting point. Try and avoid that if you can. So white goes there, you play there, white plays here. Again, I have to say with this move, what bad thing's going to happen? Nothing. If you were able to play here, so get triangle off. If you were to play, say, here, and white takes this, you just connect, and this is a ko that's meaningless. It's a meaningless ko, and so when, rather than playing one in this game, you connect, you just give white an extra move, which white wastes. But finally, great move, Ash. Really great move. I mean, look at the balance of territory in between the two players now. This is huge area. Black's got all of the right side, all of the lower left, huge area, and white's got this little weak group here. This one, that, yeah, it's alive, it's got some eyes and a few points, and white's got a reasonably good area of territory there. But black has got, let's just change colour for a moment. Black has got this and this, clearly ahead. Clearly ahead. Okay. White here, black descend, great move, perfect. Hane, block, great. Descend. Not sure what you had in mind there. I would have expected that one. Just to play there. It's perfectly good. You can't kill this white group, so just make your wall solid. Let's go back to the game. Yeah. So white pushes in and then you fix. And white fixes. And again, question. Is that an important stone? Is it doing any useful work? Or would you be better playing something like, I don't know, here? Or securing the, or get back to the game, sorry. Here, securing the corner. The answer's obvious. Again, it's okay. You know, you'd spent already a ton of time and effort connecting these through here. So this final stone here feels a bit like belt and braces to me. And white jumps in, and you jump back, and white jumps back, and you descend, and white descends, and then you. I don't understand this move at all. I don't understand what that little white stone over on the right hand side was doing to hurt you that you hadn't already fixed, and that here you just simply needed to block here and protect the left hand side of the board. Anyway, we all have crazy moments, and that was a crazy moment for you, Ash. You decided to kill this stone. White pushed there, you blocked there, white harnade. Again, a crazy moment. This is the move. White blocks, you protect. White cuts here. Is that what you were worried about? Then black Atari, white, black. Guess what? It's our old friend the ladder. White simply cannot cut there. So this move by you just lets white come into your territory. You block, white pushes, you block, white connects, you connect. It didn't go far. Do you need to answer that? Is there anything it needs to answer? No. It's another stone in the same area. The black stones are already alive. And just think of the outcome if instead of that you played something like this. It would have been resign game for white. Absolutely resign game. But that's why we study Go. So you connect, white connects, and you connect again. This time white connects, you push, white pushes, you push, white harness, you protect. It's okay. What are we protecting against here? I might be tempted just to protect here solidly. You've already got one eye here and you just need an eye in the centre, and this turns out badly for black in this, because white's able to exploit what we call the agi, the taste of these stones here. Anyway, let's get to that. So black plays there, white descends, black descends, white blocks. This is endgame moves now. The game is over. We're playing in the end. White blocks, you push, white fixes, you hane, white hanes. I don't understand that move at all. This point here is what we call a neutral point. It's a space that's bounded by both black and white. In Japanese it's dame, and I don't understand. I don't understand why he played that one. The move to play is obviously this one. Simply connect, and then white has to fix, and then it's your centre again. So I just don't understand that move. And actually there is a challenge for you and for all beginner players, is actually before you play a move like that, ask yourself, what is it you're trying to stop happening? What is it you're trying to do? And is it reasonable? Now, the white group here at the top is completely connected and alive. This is just a neutral point, it's an endgame neutral. So what happens then is white takes, and then you block, and then there's a vulnerability. White connects, and the vulnerability is here at Q18. So black plays here again. This is another neutral point. B17 is bounded by both players, so it's neutral or dame. It's played right at the end of the game. So you play the neutral. White protects a cutting point that doesn't exist. This is just heroic but forlorn. These stones are dead, and again, instead of this kind of move, this would have solved all the problems that later emerge in the game. Recognising dead stones isn't easy, particularly at the start of the game when you're first beginning to learn. I understand that, but these are well and truly dead. So you push here. Did you pass? Yeah, you made a pass move. Interesting. You made a pass move, and white invaded. Now we get on to how to deal with invasions. When somebody invades inside your territory, notice that you've got a super unbreakable thick wall here. The only way that white can live is to make some kind of shape on the edge, some kind of 2-eye space to live locally. Can't break out, can't connect to any friendly groups outside the wall, so it's got to live locally. So it's really important when you are invaded that you take out any opportunities. So this was the wrong move. The move should be the hane here, to take out the opportunity for white to make eyes on the edge. So you clamped, and white went down looking for that eye space. And then you kind of abandoned this fight, and I'm really not sure why. You need to block here or block here. Probably block here, because there's more potential in the corner. So block here. If white turns, you play here. If white turns again, you play here. And now there's only room for one eye in that edge space. Let's go back. So after this one, you let white off the hook. These stones on the top here are already, on the top side, we've already accepted they're already dead. They can't make 2 eyes locally. There's just not enough space. White does answer, and you answer. You put another stone in there, and then white does what we call the eye stealing tetsuji because of the presence of these 2 stones. That's no longer an eye because they're cut on the diagonal, and you try to make an eye. White ataris, you atari, white takes. Everything's dead. Finally, you block on the correct side. That's great. White comes out this way, and actually you should descend here to eliminate the potential of white to make eyes on the edge. What happened in the game? You jumped to protect a cutting point so white could come out, Again, you've still got the opportunity to descend here, but by playing here, white gets an Atari. You answer that Atari, and white comes the other direction. You turn away. You and I have talked about this a lot, Ash. Look at that one. Straight away, it's an empty triangle. It's bad shape. If you want something to happen there, to take the shape away, take this. Then white can't develop this area as eye space. White turns, empty triangle. White turns, comes out. Now white is running for this area because there's open space there where it can make eyes. You turn on this side. This is white's now. It's got at least one eye now. You try and block that eye, and here come the eyes. Atari on the second line. That stone has just been Atari'd on the second line, which means it's dead unconditionally. You descend, white descends, and white's got his eyes. White has now got one eye there and another eye there that you can't get at. There's nothing you can do. Because notice if you play black here, then white just simply catches there. If you play here, white takes you. White's got a living group. So all of this was about not letting white get that space on the edge. So here we go. It's back to the game. White comes out, you block. White pushes, you block. White Ataris. You come this way. Blocking the corner was correct. Descending was correct to stop white making any more space. But white's alive. Block, block. This is another neutral point. This one here. We don't play neutral points. They're neutral. If you want to play in that area, then you play somewhere like this. Sorry, get that out. Here, but actually white can't get past that. If there's nothing white can do. Next move in the game, you play there, gives white a free move. You block, white block, you block, and then it's over. The invasion succeeded. White doesn't have a lot of points in here, notice. White's only got 3 points of territory, but he's ripped out about 20 or 30 points of your territory. This was an 80-point territory, and then it's now a 25 or 30 point territory. He's ripped out 50 points. White then Atari's here. Black. White connects, black takes, and black connects. How many liberties does white have here? This white group. Oops, not that black stone. It's got 1, 2. Only 2 liberties, which means that white cannot push into this space here without self-Atarying. So black doesn't need to defend that. So white goes there, and black defends it to make sure that happens. Notice that white cannot play there. So this move, if white plays there, it self-Ataries. So this move by black needs to go here to shut off any potential of these 2 stones. But again, this theme of what's happening in the game, so many times in this game, Ash, and all of us do this, we give our opponent 2 moves. White played this move, we answered. White played that move, and we gave them another move, that one there, which is an Atari. So black connects, and then white jumps here. This is really dangerous, because this group now has got 2 liberties. If white cuts here, black's going to die. What happens? Black takes this group. This group's already in Atari. This group here only has 1 liberty. Black can kill it at any point. There's no risk at all to black. And actually what black really needed to do here was connect there. And then all of these white stones will die. Just notice, all of these black stones, they're completely connected down this line here. They don't need eyes, they're just completely connected, and these white stones are going to die. Everything's fine. Anyway, back to the game. You took these off, didn't need to, so white cut and Atari'd, and that means the death of this group. So white wedged in there, and I think you passed again. Yeah, you did pass again. It'd be quite important that you don't pass here and play out. Where are we? After this one, but black plays here, at least to protect this and kill these two, not pass. So black passed, so white turned, black backed off, and white connected, gets the whole corner. White blocked, white connect. That doesn't do anything because white just takes there. Pass, 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 game over. And the score, I think, was about 13 to white. So that's the game. I'm calling this How to Lose a One Game because we've all done it, and that's what happened to Ash here. Two things. One is, the two takeaway points is, before you place that stone on the board, say, what's this stone doing? What am I trying to stop happening, or what do I want to happen when I place this stone? And if you can't answer either of those questions, what am I going to stop happening with this, or what do I want to happen with this, then don't play it. Think of something else. It's better to play a good move that you don't understand than a bad one you do. And then when we looked at invasions, and I'll do something else on invasions, take away the base. Ripping away the base from your opponent so they can't make eyes on the edge is critical, and that's what happened in this area of the board. There. Okay, I think that's about it for now. I hope that's been useful. There's a lot of detail in that. It was quite a long review of quite a complex game and a complex fight. Lots of learning points. Thanks for your time, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.